Some rules are announced openly, and then there are rules whispered. The first kind keeps you obedient. The second kind keeps you untouchable. In 1513, a man sat in exile, stripped of power, tortured by the state he once served. His hands were broken. His name was Dirt. But he didn't scream. He didn't beg. He wrote. And what he wrote became the manual for every king, every conqueror, every silent architect of empires that followed. Niccolò Machiavelli didn't teach men how to be good. He taught them how to survive the game no one admits is being played. And buried in his work, between the lines about princes and warfare, was something more intimate, more immediate, more dangerous. A doctrine of public invisibility. 9 behaviors that separate those who are consumed by the crowd from those who move through it like ghosts. You've been warned about honesty, about kindness, about standing out. But no one warned you about this. Power doesn't reveal itself. It withholds itself. Machiavelli watched men destroy themselves, not from weakness, but from the need to be understood. They wanted to be seen as virtuous, to be loved, to be transparent, and they died confused, betrayed, stripped of everything they thought loyalty would protect. Because there's a law older than Rome, quieter than Scripture. What you do in public writes your fate, not in some cosmic, poetic sense, in the most brutal, political, social way imaginable. The crowd is always watching, not to admire you, to categorize you, to decide if you're prey or predator, fool or force, noise or silence. And the moment you slip, the moment you reveal too much, explain too much, need too much, they decide. Machiavelli knew this. He saw princes fall not on battlefields but at banquets, not by the sword but by the whisper. So he left behind a map, not for how to win, but for how to never lose in public. December 1502. Cesare Borgia, the most feared man in Italy, invited his enemies to a feast. They came dressed in silk. They ate from golden plates. They drank wine poured by servants who smiled. And by morning, every one of them was dead. Machiavelli was there. Not at the table. He was an observer, a diplomat, a shadow in the corner taking notes. And what he noted wasn't the betrayal itself. It was what Borgia never did. He never gloated before the strike. He never complained about their disloyalty in the days prior. He never let them see doubt, hesitation, or mercy. He performed perfectly in public. And in private, he did what survival demanded. Machiavelli called it statecraft. But it wasn't just for states. It was for anyone who wanted to hold power in a world designed to take it from you. Now pause. If you've made it this far, you already know you're different. You're not here for surface-level advice. You're here because you sense there's a game beneath the game. A language beneath the language. And you want to learn how to speak it fluently. This channel exists for people like you. People who prefer the whispered rule over the shouted one. So if that's you, if you want to continue moving through this world with a kind of quiet control that others can't name but always feel, hit subscribe. Because what comes next isn't motivation. It's initiation. And the 9 rules you're about to learn? They're not about becoming a better person. They're about becoming an unreadable one. Let's begin. Rule number 1. Never complain in public. Complaining is confession. Every time you complain in public, you're not venting. You're testifying to your weaknesses. You're handing the crowd a map of where you're vulnerable, where you're tired, where you break. And they will remember, not because they care, but because humans are predators of pattern. We watch for cracks, for inconsistencies, for signs that someone is beneath us. Machiavelli wrote, "Men judge more by the eye than by the hand. Everyone can see, few can feel." Translation: what people see you do in public becomes your identity. And if what they see is complaint, you become weak. Not in truth. Maybe you're enduring hell with grace in private. But publicly, you're catalogued, filed, dismissed. In 1494, Piero de' Medici, heir to the most powerful family in Florence, stood before the invading French king, Charles VIII. Piero was scared. The army was enormous. So he did what felt human. He complained. He explained how unfair the situation was. How his family had always been loyal to France. How he didn't deserve this. He wept. And Charles saw weakness. Within weeks, Piero was exiled. The Medici dynasty, centuries old, was shattered. Not because Piero lost a battle, but because he lost composure in public. Machiavelli watched that, too. And he wrote it down as a warning. A prince must seem compassionate, but never be visibly distressed. You're not a prince, but you're still being watched. At work, on social media, in your friend group, and every time you complain publicly about your boss, your life, your struggles, you're doing what Piero did. You're performing weakness. But I'm just being honest, you say. No, you're being legible. And in a world where everyone is competing for status, attention, and power, legibility is liability. The people you complain to, they're not your therapists. They're your audience. And they're deciding in real time whether you're someone to respect or someone to forget. Now here's where it gets uncomfortable. Doesn't this make you fake? Cold? Isn't vulnerability supposed to be strength? That's what the self-help industry tells you. And they're half right. Vulnerability with the right people, in the right context, builds trust. But vulnerability in public, with people who don't love you, that's not courage. That's strategic suicide. Machiavelli didn't say, never feel pain. He said, never show pain to those who would use it against you. There's a difference. One is human. The other is survival. Here's the silent question. Who have you complained to this week that didn't actually care? Think about it. Did venting help you? Or did it just lower you in their eyes? Most people complain because it feels like relief. But what it actually does is transfer power. You give the listener information, leverage, a reason to see you as less. The Machiavellian doesn't complain in public. He observes who does. And he files it away. Drop a comment right now. What's the one complaint you need to stop making in public? Be honest with yourself. Because awareness is the first step to invisibility. But here's the thing. Not complaining is just the surface. Because even if you stay silent about your pain, what happens when they ask you what you want? What you're planning? What you're thinking? That's where most people fail the second test. And it's the one Machiavelli considered even more deadly. Rule number 2. Never reveal your true intentions. Intention is ammunition. The moment people know what you truly want, they can do one of 3 things. Block you. Beat you to it. Use it to manipulate you. Machiavelli wrote, "The lion cannot protect himself from traps, and the fox cannot defend himself from wolves. One must therefore be a fox to recognize traps, and a lion to frighten wolves." Translation: strength without deception is just noise. You can be the strongest person in the room. But if everyone knows your goal, your desire, your plan, you've already lost. Because power isn't about force. It's about information asymmetry. Knowing more than they do. Wanting something they don't see. Moving in directions they didn't predict. Cesare Borgia wanted to unify central Italy under his control. But he never said that. When he entered a city, he spoke of justice, of ending corruption, of protecting the people. And they opened the gates. And once inside, he installed his own men, seized the armories, rewrote the laws. By the time they realized what he wanted, it was too late. He was already inevitable. Machiavelli watched this and marveled. Men are so simple, and so ready to obey present necessities, that he who deceives will always find those who allow themselves to be deceived. Not because people are stupid, but because they trust what you say more than what you do. You announce your goals on Instagram, your New Year's resolutions, your business idea, your next move. And it feels good, doesn't it? Accountability, you call it. Transparency. But what you're really doing is giving away leverage. Now your competitors know where to position. Your enemies know where to strike. Your friends know what to doubt when you stumble. The most dangerous people you know, they don't post their plans. They post their results. They let you see the kingdom after it's already built. Here's the friction. So I'm supposed to lie? No. You're supposed to be selectively honest. There's a difference between lying and withholding. Lying creates vulnerability. You have to remember the lie, maintain it, defend it. Withholding creates mystery, and mystery creates respect. You don't owe the public your intentions. You owe them your competence. Show them the outcome. Let them guess the method. Ask yourself, who benefits when you reveal your plans? Not you. Revealing your plan gives you a dopamine hit. It feels like progress. But it's fake progress. Because now you're not just fighting the goal. You're fighting everyone's opinion of the goal. Their doubt. Their envy. Their fear that you'll succeed and make them look small. The Machiavellian moves in silence. Not because he's afraid, but because silence removes friction. Comment below. What's one goal you're keeping silent about until it's done? Let's normalize strategic secrecy. But what happens when staying silent isn't enough? When you're in need, when you're desperate for help, money, love, status? That's when the third rule becomes a matter of survival. Rule number 3. Never display desperation. Desperation is blood in the water. Sharks don't attack the strongest swimmer. They attack the one who's thrashing. The one whose movements scream, "I'm drowning." Machiavelli observed, men are more ready to repay an injury than a benefit, because gratitude is a burden and revenge a pleasure. Translation: people don't help the desperate. They exploit them. Not always consciously. But desperation shifts the power dynamic so violently that even good people start to see you as less than. As someone they can negotiate down. As someone who will accept anything because they have no choice. And once you're seen that way, you never stop being seen that way. In 1498, Girolamo Savonarola, a Dominican friar who had effectively ruled Florence through religious fervor, was captured by his enemies. He had once commanded armies of followers, burned books, executed the corrupt. He was feared. But when they arrested him, he begged. He confessed to crimes he didn't commit. He pleaded for mercy in front of the crowd. And the same people who once kissed his robes cheered as he burned. Not because he was guilty, but because he looked desperate. And desperation is contagious disgust. Machiavelli, watching from the crowd, wrote, "People will forget what you said, forget what you did, but they will never forget how you made them feel." And desperation makes people feel superior, uncomfortable, repelled. You've seen this. The person who texts too much. The entrepreneur who pitches too hard. The friend who always needs something. They might be talented, kind, worthy of help, but you pull away, don't you? Not because you're cruel, but because desperation is exhausting to witness. It makes people want to escape you, not assist you. Here's the brutal truth. The less you need people, the more they want to help you. The moment you stop chasing, they start leaning in. So what do you do when you're actually desperate? When you need the job, the loan, the partnership, you perform the opposite. You act like you have options, even when you don't. You speak with the tone of someone choosing to engage, not needing to. I'm exploring a few directions, and I thought this might be interesting. Not, please, I'll do anything. Is this dishonest? No. It's self-preservation. Because the moment you collapse into honesty born of panic, you lose the only card you have left. The belief that you're worth betting on. Here's the question haunting you right now. When was the last time you acted desperate and lost respect because of it? Maybe it was a job interview, a relationship, a negotiation. You felt it, didn't you? The shift. The moment they stopped seeing you as a peer and started seeing you as a petitioner. And once that shift happens, it's almost impossible to reverse. The Machiavellian knows. Better to starve in silence than beg in public. Not because pride matters, but because perception is the only currency that never inflates. Drop a comment. Have you ever lost an opportunity because you seemed too eager? Let's talk about it. Because recognizing the pattern is how you break it. Now here's the twist. Even if you don't complain, don't reveal your plans, and don't look desperate, there's still one mistake that will destroy you faster than all the others combined. And it's the one people make when they think they're being smart. When they think they're defending themselves. Rule number 4. Never explain yourself to the crowd. Explanation is submission. Every time you explain yourself in public, you're doing something you think is rational. You think you're clarifying, correcting the record, setting things straight. But here's what's actually happening. You're validating the crowd's right to judge you. You're saying, you matter enough that I need your approval. And once you do that, you've already lost. Machiavelli wrote, "It is better to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both." But here's the line people miss. For love is preserved by the link of obligation which, owing to the baseness of men, is broken at every opportunity for their advantage. But fear preserves you by a dread of punishment which never fails. Translation. The moment you beg for understanding, you've made yourself their servant. Lorenzo de' Medici, il Magnifico, was accused in 1478 of corruption, tyranny, and manipulating Florence's wealth for his family. The accusations were public, loud, repeated in the streets. His advisors told him, defend yourself, explain, show them the ledgers. And Lorenzo said, let them talk. He didn't explain. He didn't justify. He threw a festival, commissioned art, held a joust, and within weeks, the accusations were forgotten. Not because they were false, but because Lorenzo refused to dignify them with a response. He understood. The crowd doesn't want truth. They want a show. And if you give them a show that's more interesting than their accusations, they'll move on. Someone tweets something false about you, posts a lie, twists your words, and your first instinct is to respond, to correct them, to explain what you really meant. And the moment you do, you've entered their frame. You're now playing a game where the rules are, whoever explains is losing, because explanation is defense. And defense is an admission that you're on trial. The powerful don't explain. They redirect, or they ignore, because silence, in the face of accusation, is the loudest power move there is. Here's the moral friction. So I just let people lie about me? Yes. In public. In private, with the people who matter, you can clarify. But in the public square, with the crowd watching, explaining yourself is begging. The truth is this. The crowd will believe what they want. Your explanation won't change that. It will only make you look weak for caring. The Machiavellian knows. Let your results be your explanation. Let your silence be your strength. Ask yourself, who are you trying to convince? If it's people who already dislike you, you can't. If it's people who already respect you, you don't need to. So why explain? Because it feels like control. But it's not. It's the illusion of control. Real control is walking away from the trial entirely. Comment now. What's the hardest accusation you've ever stayed silent on? Let's honor the discipline of strategic silence. But here's where it gets even darker. What happens when you win? When you achieve the goal? When you finally get the promotion, the victory, the recognition? That's when most people make the mistake Machiavelli warned about more than any other. Rule number 5. Never celebrate victory publicly. Victory makes enemies. Not because people are evil, but because winning is a mirror. And when you celebrate in public, you're holding that mirror up to everyone who didn't win. You're reminding them of their inadequacy, their failure, their smallness, and they will smile. They will congratulate you. But inside, they'll begin the quiet work of tearing you down. Machiavelli observed, men nearly always follow the tracks made by others and proceed in their affairs by imitation, even though they cannot entirely keep to the tracks of others or emulate the prowess of their models. A prudent man should always follow in the footsteps of great men and imitate those who have been outstanding. But here's what he didn't say out loud. Those great men celebrated in private. In 1476, Galeazzo Maria Sforza, Duke of Milan, threw a celebration for himself. He had crushed a rebellion, secured his power, and he wanted everyone to know. He paraded through the streets, threw feasts, boasted. Within months, he was assassinated, not by the rebels, but by men in his own court, men who had smiled at the celebration, who had raised their goblets, and who quietly decided, "He has become unbearable." Machiavelli knew the story well, and he coded the warning into every chapter. Public triumph breeds private resentment. You get the promotion. You post it on LinkedIn. You get the relationship. You post it on Instagram. You get the deal. You announce it in the group chat. And it feels good, doesn't it? Validation, recognition, proof. But here's what you don't see. The person who applied for the same job and didn't get it. The friend who's been single for years. The competitor who lost the deal. They're not happy for you. They're measuring themselves against you. And losing. And that loss festers. Not today. Not tomorrow. But when you need them. When you're vulnerable. They'll remember. Here's the tension. Am I supposed to hide every good thing that happens? No. You're supposed to be selective. Share success with people who benefit from your win. Your team. Your mentors. Your inner circle. But broadcasting it to the crowd? That's not gratitude. That's gloating. And gloating is just insecurity dressed as confidence. The truly powerful don't need to announce victory. Their life announces it for them. Here's the quiet truth. The need to celebrate publicly is the need to be seen. And the need to be seen is a weakness. Because it means you're still looking for validation from people who don't determine your worth. The Machiavellian celebrates in private. With the people who helped. With the people who matter. And in public. He moves on to the next conquest. Silent. Hungry. Unreadable. Comment. What's a win you kept private, and why? Let's normalize quiet victories. Now here's the nightmare scenario. What if you don't win? What if you lose? What if you're wounded, embarrassed, exposed? That's when the sixth rule becomes the difference between recovery and erasure. Rule number 6. Never show weakness when wounded. Injury invites attack. In nature, predators target the limping animal, not the healthy one. Not the strong one. The one that's bleeding. And humans are no different. Machiavelli wrote, "Since it is difficult to join them together, it is safer to be feared than to be loved when one of the two must be lacking." But here's the unspoken corollary. The moment they see you bleed, fear evaporates. And when fear is gone, all that's left is opportunity. The opportunity to replace you, to outpace you, to finish you. In 1469, Piero de' Medici, Lorenzo's father, suffered a violent illness. He was bedridden, weak, unable to govern, and the rival families of Florence, who had feared the Medici for decades, immediately began plotting. Not because Piero had done anything new, but because he looked fragile. And fragility is permission. Permission to test, to challenge, to strike. Piero survived only because his son Lorenzo stepped in and performed strength on his behalf. Lorenzo didn't admit his father was dying. He held meetings, made decisions, smiled in public, and the rivals hesitated because they couldn't see the wound. You go through a breakup, a failure, a public embarrassment, and people can smell it, not because you told them, but because of how you move. How you speak, how you hold yourself. And here's what happens. The people you thought were friends start distancing. The people you thought were allies start repositioning. Not out of cruelty, but out of survival instinct. Because weakness is contagious. And no one wants to be associated with someone who's falling. Here's the friction again. This sounds like toxic masculinity. Like suppressing emotion. No. It's contextual wisdom. Feel your wound in private. Process it. Grieve it. Heal it. But in public. Stand tall. Speak clearly. Move forward. Because the public doesn't care about your journey. They care about your utility. And if you're wounded and visibly weak, you're no longer useful. You're a liability. Here's the truth you don't want to hear. People respect recovery more than they respect suffering. Show them the scar, not the wound. Show them you survived, not that you're surviving. Because survival in real time looks like struggle. And struggle repels. But a scar is proof of strength. The Machiavellian hides the blood, shows the sword. Comment: how do you stay composed when everything inside you is breaking? Let's share the disciplines of endurance. But here's the trap even smart people fall into. You're strong. You're silent. You're controlled. And then someone challenges you. Publicly. Stupidly. And every instinct screams. Destroy them. Prove them wrong. Win the argument. And that's exactly when you fall into the seventh trap. Rule number 7. Never argue with fools in public. Arguing with a fool makes two fools. Machiavelli understood. The crowd cannot distinguish between the wise man and the fool if they're both shouting. They just see conflict. And in conflict, the person who looks calmer wins. Not the person who's right. The person who seems unbothered. The moment you engage a fool in public debate, you've done 3 things. Elevated them to your level. Validated their claim as worth responding to. Entered a game where logic doesn't matter. Only performance. And the fool. They always win the performance. Because they have no reputation to protect. You do. In 1497, Savonarola, the fiery preacher, publicly challenged the Medici, the Pope, and anyone who opposed him. People begged the Pope to debate him, to crush him with theology. And the Pope, advised by Machiavelli's contemporaries, said, "I will not debate a madman." Instead, he excommunicated him quietly. Let others enforce it. And within a year, Savonarola was dead. Not because he lost an argument, but because he was isolated, ignored by power, dismissed. The Pope understood. You don't fight fools. You let them exhaust themselves. Someone tweets something idiotic at you, attacks you in a comment section, calls you out in a meeting with bad logic, and your brain says, correct them, destroy them, prove you're smarter, and if you do, you lose. Because now you're in the mud with them, and the audience doesn't care who started it. They just see 2 people fighting, and fighting is low status. The Machiavellian doesn't argue. He dismisses, or he says nothing, and lets the fool's words evaporate in the absence of resistance. Here's the conflict. So I let people spread lies? In public? Yes. If the lie is stupid, it will collapse on its own. If the lie is dangerous, you respond once, with facts, and then go silent. You don't engage in a back and forth. Because every reply is a new headline. Every reaction is new content. You're not defending yourself. You're feeding the algorithm of your own destruction. The wise man speaks once. The fool speaks until someone stops listening. Here's the uncomfortable question. Who have you argued with recently that you wish you'd ignored? Someone on the internet? A coworker? A family member in front of others? You didn't change their mind, did you? You just looked reactive, defensive, small. The Machiavellian knows. Silence is the argument that never loses. Drop a comment. What's the dumbest argument you've ever won, but still lost? Let's laugh at our own tactical errors. Now we're reaching the inner ring. The rules that separate the competent from the untouchable. Because even if you've mastered silence, composure, and restraint, there's one thing most people accidentally reveal without even knowing it. And it's the thing that makes them predictable, controllable, finished. Rule number 8. Never reveal who you truly serve. Loyalty is leverage. The moment people know who you're loyal to, they know how to manipulate you. They know which buttons to push, which fears to activate, which bribes to offer. Machiavelli wrote, "A prince must have no other objective, no other thought, nor take up any profession but that of war, its methods and its discipline. But replace war with strategy, and the message becomes universal. Your true objective must remain hidden, because if they know what you're fighting for, they can threaten it. If they know who you love, they can harm them. If they know what you believe, they can use it against you." Pope Alexander VI, Rodrigo Borgia, Cesari's father, was one of the most politically brilliant men of the Renaissance. And nobody ever knew who he truly served. Was it the church? His family? Spain? France? He made alliances with all of them, betrayed all of them, and died wealthier and more powerful than almost any pope before him. Because no one could predict him. No one knew his true loyalty, and so no one could trap him. Machiavelli studied him and concluded, "It is not titles that honor men, but men that honor titles." Translation: your identity should be a weapon, not a weakness. You post your political views, your religious beliefs, your brand loyalties, your causes, and you think it makes you authentic, brave, clear. But what it actually does is limit you. Now you're predictable. People know how you'll vote, how you'll react, what you'll defend, and that predictability is a cage. The most powerful people you know, you can't quite pin them down. You don't know exactly where they stand, and that ambiguity gives them room to maneuver. Here's the rub. So I should have no beliefs? No, you should have beliefs. You just don't owe the public a detailed map of them. You can stand for things through action without announcing allegiance. You can support people without pledging servitude. The Machiavellian serves himself first, not out of selfishness, but out of sustainability. Because if you don't protect your own position, you can't protect anything else. Ask yourself, what have you publicly committed to that now limits your options? A political party, a social movement, a brand identity. And now, every time you want to shift, you feel trapped. Because you've told everyone who you are. And changing means looking inconsistent, weak. The Machiavellian never locks himself into a public identity. He evolves quietly. And by the time people notice, it's already done. Comment, what's one belief you used to broadcast that you now keep private? Let's normalize strategic ambiguity. And now, the final rule. The one that cuts deepest. The one that most people violate every single day without realizing it. Because it's not about what you say. It's about what you want. And more specifically, who you want it from. Rule number 9. Never let them see you want their approval. Approval is poison disguised as reward. The moment you show that you need someone's approval, you hand them total control. They become the gatekeeper, the validator, the god of your self-worth. And you become the supplicant. Machiavelli observed, men are driven by two principal impulses, either by love or by fear. But here's the line most people miss. If they know you want their love, they will withhold it to control you. If they fear you, they will give you respect to survive you. Love is conditional. Fear is structural. And the need for approval? That's love begging to be conditional. In 1077, Henry IV, the Holy Roman Emperor, stood barefoot in the snow outside a castle in Canossa for 3 days, waiting for the Pope to forgive him, to approve of him. And when the Pope finally opened the door, Henry had won nothing. He'd only proven that the Pope could make an emperor kneel. Machiavelli would later write about this moment as the ultimate failure of power. He wanted approval more than he wanted victory. And so he got neither. You check the likes. You refresh the comments. You wait for your boss to praise you, your parents to affirm you, your partner to see you. And every time you wait for that validation, you lose a piece of self-governance. Because you're outsourcing your worth. You're saying, I am only valuable if you tell me I am. And they feel it. And consciously or not, they use it. They delay the praise. They withhold the acknowledgement, not out of cruelty, but because power flows toward those who need less. Here's the final tension. So I should be a lone wolf? Never care what anyone thinks? No, you should care. But you should care about the opinion of people you respect, not their approval. Opinion is feedback. Approval is dependency. The Machiavellian listens, considers, but decides for himself. He doesn't perform for applause. He performs for results. And if applause comes, he acknowledges it. But he doesn't need it. Here's the question that will haunt you. Whose approval are you still chasing? A parent who'll never give it? A partner who holds it hostage? An audience that doesn't even know your name? And what would happen if you stopped? If you just decided, I approve of myself. That's enough. The world wouldn't end. You just become harder to control. Final comment prompt. Whose approval did you stop chasing, and how did it change you? This is the real work. So here we are. 9 rules. 9 behaviors that Machiavelli observed across centuries of princes, betrayals, wars, and whispers. But here's the secret beneath the 9. These aren't rules. They're symptoms. Symptoms of a deeper truth. The world rewards the unreadable, not the perfect, not the honest, not the loudest. The unreadable. The person who moves through rooms and leaves people thinking, I can't quite figure them out. They seem calm, but powerful. I don't know what they want, but I want them to want me. That's not manipulation. That's presence. And presence is what remains when you stop performing for the crowd and start designing for outcome. Machiavelli didn't write The Prince to make you cruel. He wrote it to make you sovereign. Sovereign over your reputation, your reactions, your narrative. So let me ask you, are you still performing? Or are you finally ruling? There are rules you're told. And then there are rules whispered. You've heard the whisper now. What you do with it is up to you. But know this, the game is always happening. Whether you play or not, whether you see it or not. The only question is, are you a piece on the board, or the hand that moves it? If you want to keep learning the language beneath the language, if you want to become the kind of person people feel but can't define, subscribe, stay, and never stop listening to the whispers.